At my age, I thought I'd figured out how to live. But here I was, waking up each morning feeling like a stranger in my own life. The days just disappeared. One minute I was having my morning coffee, the next I was turning off the lights at bedtime, wondering where the hours had gone. Sound familiar? I'm here to share something that changed everything for me. A simple rule so obvious, I almost missed it entirely. But once I embraced it, my days transformed from foggy confusion into clear, purposeful living. And if an old fellow like me can find his rhythm again, so can you. Chapter 1. When Life Becomes a Blur. Let me paint you a picture of how things used to be. I'd wake up with the best intentions. Maybe I'd sort through those old photographs, call my grandson, or finally fix that squeaky door. But somehow, by evening, I'd accomplished none of it. Instead, I'd spent 20 minutes looking for my reading glasses, another hour watching the news, and the rest of the day feeling like I was always one step behind. The worst part? I couldn't even tell you what I had done. The hours just evaporated like morning mist. I wasn't looking for some miracle cure or fancy system. I just wanted to feel like the captain of my own ship again, To go to bed knowing I'd lived that day instead of just surviving it. That's when I stumbled upon something called the 8+8+8 rule. And friends, it saved me. Chapter 2. The beautiful simplicity of 3/8. Here's the thing about getting older. We've tried enough complicated solutions to know they don't work. What we need is something simple, something that makes sense in our bones. The 8+8+8 rule is exactly that. 8 hours for rest, 8 hours for meaningful work, and 8 hours for personal joy and connection. Now, before you start thinking that sounds nice, but my life doesn't work that way, let me stop you right there. This isn't about rigid schedules or perfect balance. It's about recognizing that life has 3 essential ingredients, and each one deserves its fair share of attention. Think of it like tending a garden. You need soil preparation, planting, and nurturing. Skip any one of these, and nothing grows properly. Your life is the same way. Chapter 3. The eye-opening truth about where time goes. Before I could fix anything, I had to face a hard truth. I had no idea where my time was actually going. So I did something I hadn't done since I was young and learning to manage money. I kept track. For 3 whole days, I wrote down everything I did, hour by hour. Not what I planned to do, not what I thought I should be doing, but what I actually did. The results shocked me. I thought I was getting 8 hours of sleep. Reality? 6.5, broken by late-night worry sessions and too early wake-ups. I believed I spent quality time on meaningful activities. Truth? Most of my day was scattered between small tasks and mindless distractions. But here's the kicker. I thought I had no time for myself, yet I somehow found 2 hours to scroll through my phone. This wasn't about judgment, friends. It was about awareness. You can't steer a ship if you don't know which direction you're heading. Chapter 4. Treating sleep like the treasure it is. Sleep was always the first thing I sacrificed. Someone needed help late at night? I'd stay up. Couldn't quiet my racing mind? I'd lie there for hours, staring at the ceiling. But here's what I learned that changed everything. While we sleep, our brains literally clean themselves. Scientists call it the glymphatic system. Think of it as a gentle night janitor for your mind, washing away the day's mental clutter so you can wake up clear and sharp. Without proper rest, that janitor never shows up. No wonder I felt foggy all the time. I started treating my evenings like a sacred ritual. No bright lights after 8, no news programs designed to keep me anxious, no phone calls that could wait until morning. Just soft music, maybe some herbal tea, and a good book. Going to bed at the same time every night, even weekends, felt strange at first. Almost selfish, but soon it became the most important appointment of my day. Now when I wake up, I don't feel like I'm dragging myself through molasses. I feel like I've returned from somewhere healing and restorative. Chapter 5. Making your active hours count. There was a time when I confused being busy with being useful. I'd flutter from task to task, organizing a drawer here, making a phone call there, starting 3 projects and finishing none. The second 8 in our rule changed all that. 8 hours for work, contribution, or purposeful activity. Now, this doesn't mean you need a job or income. For some of us, it's volunteering at the church. For others, it's tending the garden or helping neighbors. The key isn't what you do, it's how present you are while doing it. I stopped trying to do everything at once. When I'm cooking dinner, I'm fully there, feeling the textures, enjoying the aromas, taking pride in nourishing my body. When I'm writing a letter to my sister, I give it my complete attention. Here's a simple technique that revolutionized my days. Every morning, I write down 3 things I want to accomplish with care and intention. Not a massive to-do list that makes me feel overwhelmed, just 3 meaningful priorities. And you know what? I started honoring breaks. A cup of coffee on the porch, 5 minutes to stretch these old bones, or just a quiet moment to breathe. These aren't interruptions to productivity. They're part of the rhythm that keeps me going strong. Chapter 6. Reclaiming Joy for Yourself. This last 8, the hours for personal time and connection, that's the one I'd been giving away for decades. I treated it like leftover pie, something I could enjoy only after everyone else had been served. But leftovers don't nourish the soul, friends. I had to ask myself a painful question. When was the last time I did something purely because it brought me joy? I couldn't remember. So I made a promise to myself. No more waiting for perfect conditions to enjoy life. Now I treat personal time as sacred, not selfish. That means taking an afternoon walk even if the dishes aren't done. It means calling my old friend just to laugh together, not to coordinate holiday plans. It means sitting quietly with my coffee and watching the birds, not because I've earned it, but because I deserve it. I broke this time into gentle categories. Home time, light cleaning and small touches that make my space feel warm. Body time, stretching, walking, even dancing to old songs in the kitchen. Relationship time, calls, visits, even handwritten letters. Pure joy time, puzzles, music, prayer, time in nature. The biggest shift? Learning to be fully present. No phone in hand while talking to someone I love. No television drowning out my thoughts during quiet moments. Just attention, real, undivided attention. That attention transformed ordinary moments into extraordinary memories. Chapter 7. Building systems, not just making plans. I used to be a champion list maker. Sticky notes on the refrigerator, notebooks full of good intentions, calendars marked with ambitious plans. But somehow, things kept falling through the cracks. The problem wasn't me, it was my approach. Goals are important, but they don't work without systems. A goal says, I want to stay connected with family. A system says, I'll call one family member every Tuesday evening and write one letter every Sunday afternoon. See the difference? The first is a wish. The second is a rhythm you can follow. I built simple systems for everything. Better sleep, lights dimmed by 8 p.m., tea by 8:15, phone off and in bed by 9. Meaningful work, 3 priorities each morning, 1 hour of focused attention, no multitasking. Personal connection, Sunday calls, Wednesday walks, monthly handwritten letters. These systems don't rely on motivation, which can be fickle when you're feeling low or the weather's bad. They rely on rhythm, and rhythm works with you, not against you. Chapter 8. The Magic of Starting Small. Most of my life, I believed change had to be dramatic to be real. Complete kitchen overhaul, total schedule makeover, 5 new habits starting Monday morning. Every time, I'd last about a week before quietly slipping back to old ways. Then I discovered something beautiful. Real change starts so small it almost feels silly. They call them micro-habits, tiny actions you can do in less than 2 minutes, so easy your brain can't argue with them. I started by simply making my bed every morning. That's it. One small victory to begin each day, one tiny signal that I was on my own side. Then I added another, brushing my hair and smiling at myself in the mirror, even when I didn't feel like it. It reminded me that I was still here, still worthy of kindness. Later, I stacked these micro-habits together. After I make coffee, I stretch for 30 seconds. After I turn off the kitchen light, I speak one thing I'm grateful for. After I check the mail, I water one plant. The beauty of micro-habits is they grow naturally. When you stretch for 30 seconds, you often keep going. When you write down one task, you might complete 2 or 3. Once you begin, momentum builds itself. Chapter 9. The Gentle Art of Saying No. I used to say yes to almost everything. A last-minute favor, an extra commitment, another request for help. It felt easier to say yes than explain why I needed to say no. But every thoughtless yes was a quiet no to myself. I'd agree to babysit 3 days in a row and find myself too exhausted to enjoy the fourth. I'd accept phone calls when I desperately needed silence. I'd volunteer for extra shifts and miss my precious afternoon walks. Learning to say no wasn't about becoming selfish. It was about protecting what matters most. I practiced simple, honest responses. I'd love to help, but I need to rest today. That sounds wonderful, but this week is already full for me. I want to give you my full attention, and I just can't right now. Can we try another time? To my surprise, most people understood. And the ones who didn't, well, that told me something important too. Here's a technique that helped, the kind sandwich. Start with warmth, add your boundary, then offer connection. I really appreciate you thinking of me. Unfortunately, I won't be able to join you, but I hope it goes beautifully, and I'd love to hear how it went. Setting boundaries made my life quieter, and in that quiet space, I rediscovered parts of myself I'd forgotten existed. Chapter 10. Theme Days That Saved My Sanity. One of the most exhausting parts of my day used to be all the tiny decisions. Should I clean the refrigerator today, or call the doctor? What about laundry? Maybe I should organize that drawer instead. All those small choices added up to one big feeling, exhaustion. Then I discovered theme days, assigning a gentle purpose to each day of the week. No more decision fatigue, no more guilt about not doing everything every day. Here's how I organized my week. Monday, home day, light cleaning, laundry, meal planning. Tuesday, errand day, appointments, pharmacy, banking. Wednesday, paper day, bills, correspondence, organizing. Thursday, connection day, calls, visits, catching up. Friday, project day, creative time, home organizing. Saturday, flex day, whatever feels right. Sunday, sacred rest day. This wasn't rigid. I could still shift things around. But this simple rhythm quieted my mind more than I ever expected. No more constant planning, no more mental ping pong. Just clarity. This is what today is for. Theme days gave my weeks a natural rhythm, like the old days when Sunday meant church and Saturday meant cleaning. It felt familiar, grounded, like life had shape again. Chapter 11. The Weekly Heart-to-Heart. Every Sunday evening, I sit down with my journal and a warm cup of tea for the most important conversation of my week, the one with myself. This isn't about productivity or crossing things off lists. It's about how I actually felt moving through my days. Was I grounded or rushing? Did I breathe deeply or hold my breath through it all? I ask myself 3 gentle questions. Rest. Did I honor my sleep or did I sacrifice it again? If I notice patterns, too much screen time before bed, pushing too late into the night, I don't scold myself. I just adjust. Earlier lights, warm tea, gentler rhythms. Work. Did I focus on things that truly matter or did I get lost in the noise? Did I protect my energy? Or did I say yes to things I meant to decline? These questions don't accuse. They invite honest reflection without shame. Personal time. Did I forget myself this week? Did I push joy aside, hoping there'd be time for me later? This is often the hardest part, but also the most sacred. I end each check-in by setting 3 gentle intentions for the week ahead. 1 for rest, 1 for meaningful contribution, 1 for joy. Not overwhelming goals, just a soft map for my heart to follow. And I always celebrate one thing I did well, no matter how small. Maybe I got to bed on time, called a friend, or took that walk when I didn't feel like it. These moments build trust. They remind me I'm capable of creating a life that feels good to live. The beautiful truth. Friends, this isn't really about time management or productivity systems. It's about something much deeper. It's about freedom. The freedom to know what matters and finally give yourself permission to live by it. The freedom to feel peace in your home, not just because everything's tidy, but because your mind is clear. The freedom to wake up without dreading the day ahead because you know it has shape, purpose, and room for you in it. I used to think I needed more time. What I really needed was a better relationship with the time I already had. The 8+8+8 rule didn't give me more hours. It gave me clarity, rhythm, and most importantly, it gave me back myself. So if you're sitting there wondering where your days have gone, if you're tired not just in your body but in your soul, I want you to know this. It's not too late. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to begin, gently, honestly, from exactly where you are right now. Start by noticing. How do you sleep? How do you move through your days? How do you feel? Then, one small step at a time, begin honoring each part of your day like it matters. Because it does. You matter. Your rest matters. Your presence matters. Your joy matters. And that peaceful, grounded, meaningful life you're longing for? It doesn't start with a dramatic change. It starts with one small, loving decision. Maybe that decision is today. Maybe it's right now. What do you say we begin together?